The current situation surrounding Iran has reached a critical diplomatic turning point as a temporary 2-week ceasefire is scheduled to expire. President Donald Trump has recently extended this ceasefire at the request of Pakistani mediators to allow more time for Tehran to finalize a formal peace proposal. The primary goal of the United States remains preventing Iran from obtaining nuclear weapons following a series of intense military strikes earlier this year. The technical core of the dispute involves Iran's uranium enrichment levels and its current stockpile of highly enriched material. While civil nuclear power typically requires enrichment between 3 and 5%, Iran has reached a threshold of 60% enrichment. Experts have noted that there is no standard civilian justification for this specific level, which is technically just a short step away from the 90% required for military-grade weapons. Historically, the relationship was governed by the 2015 nuclear deal, which the U.S. abandoned in 2018 under the first Trump administration. Since that withdrawal, Iran has systematically increased its enrichment activities, reaching levels that now place it as a nuclear threshold state. This means that while Iran does not currently possess an assembled nuclear bomb, it has acquired the technical knowledge and materials to produce one in a very short time frame if it chose to. Recent military escalations in 2026 saw joint U.S. and Israeli strikes targeting Iranian nuclear and ballistic missile infrastructure. Following these operations, the White House claimed that several key Iranian nuclear sites were significantly impacted or obliterated. However, despite these military actions, the underlying tension persists as both nations return to the negotiating table to find a more permanent solution through diplomatic channels. One of the major sticking points in the current negotiations is the future of Iran's existing stockpile of enriched uranium. President Trump recently claimed that Iran has agreed to hand over its entire enriched stockpile to the United States as part of a new deal. While this would be a major concession, Iranian officials have not yet publicly confirmed this agreement. The U.S. is also demanding a total and permanent dismantling of all enrichment capabilities. In contrast to the U.S. demand for total dismantling, Iran has proposed a limited pause in enrichment activities for a period of 3 to 5 years. The American side, however, is pushing for a much longer commitment, reportedly requesting a 20-year pause to ensure long-term regional stability. These conflicting timelines represent a significant hurdle for mediators as they attempt to bridge the gap between unconditional surrender and sovereign rights. The role of the Strait of Hormuz remains a vital economic and strategic lever for the Iranian government in these talks. Iran has previously used its control over this waterway to pressure global energy markets and extract concessions from Western powers. Opening the strait for free and clear passage was a mandatory condition set by the Trump administration for even considering the current ceasefire and peace negotiations. Diplomatic efforts are being heavily mediated by third parties, most notably Pakistan, Qatar, and Oman. These intermediaries are working to facilitate indirect talks between the high-level delegations, as direct face-to-face communication remains limited. The Iranian delegation is currently led by Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi, who has expressed a willingness to consider a fair and balanced proposal while still maintaining Iran's civil nuclear rights. The internal political landscape of Iran has also been altered by recent events, including the reported death of senior leaders during the military strikes. This has created a complex environment where the Revolutionary Guard and civilian leadership are navigating a path toward survival and economic recovery. The U.S. administration has suggested it is open to dealing with a new leadership structure, provided there is a fundamental change in nuclear policy. As the extended ceasefire deadline approaches, the global community is watching to see if a historic signing ceremony will take place in Islamabad. Such an agreement would potentially return the region to a state of regulated nuclear activity, similar to the 2015 framework, but with much stricter enforcement measures. Failure to reach a deal could lead to a resumption of large-scale military hostilities and a total collapse of the regional energy market.